Welcome to the New Flat Rate Podcast.
The New Flat Rate!
For contractors ready to boost tickets, simplify business, and gain freedom. Today, we sat down with Thaddeus Tondu, CEO of On Purpose Media. And now, your host, me, Natalie Koop, and your co-host, Danielle Putnam. Hey there, I'm Natalie, host of the New Flat Rate Podcast.
And I'm Danielle Putnam, CEO of the New Flat Rate.
Today, we're excited to welcome Thaddeus Tondu. He's the CEO of On Purpose Media. Thaddeus helps home service businesses grow through marketing strategies, culture building, and finding their true purpose. Thaddeus, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
We're glad you're here. And Thaddeus and I are actually longtime friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you
We've
think?
known each other for a few years.
Yeah, so maybe not long. But Thaddeus is one of these people that, when you meet once, you feel like you're best friends. So it's really fun to be able to have a conversation and press record today so that we can just talk about what's going on in your life and catch up on air.
Perfect. I appreciate that. And it's funny because it's like you mentioned, like that best friends thing. I'm like, I think you and I are like kindred souls, in a sense when it comes to just how we think and how we operate. So
Let's start with purpose. Thaddeus, why do you believe a strong why is so critical to a business's success?
ultimately, I think the why is super important because of a vivid vision. And if you can, look, people like being part of something that is bigger than themselves. And if you can create this unified presence where they feel like they're contributing to something, where there's a purpose, a vision, a mission behind the work that they're doing. Now I think when you have that bigger, grandiose purpose, people can rally behind that because a lot of times people get stuck in their myopic view of where they're at in their life and they don't think about something else, but it's an opportunity for them to get out of their life and into doing something else that's bigger.
How do you help companies balance building culture while also driving growth?
Mm. See, that's a tough one for I think a lot of people to do because most people don't have a great culture. I'll just be straight up honest on that. And I don't think they don't do it by ill intentions on not having a great culture. I think they're just misguided because they don't know. I've luckily had the privilege of my life working in two organizations prior to starting mine that had a phenomenally great culture. I was actually spoiled because one of them was like my second ever job outside of when I was in university, my first summer. No, that's a lie. My second summer, I started selling Cutco knives. My first summer, did construction. I built steel buildings like Costco's and such, and that was an interesting experience. I'm glad I did that for 3 months of my life, and I realized I am not. I don't want to do that. I want to rather use my hands for something else versus building. So, my second year, I sold Cutco knives, and then I went after Cutco. I worked in a couple organizations that had poor cultures, like very, very poor cultures, and then I came back to an organization that had a really great culture. And so I've kind of experienced this spectrum of it. But one of my last stops was a company called Best Version Media. And when I started, they were like, it was the wild, wild west. You shoot first, ask questions second. There was SOPs were loosely written documents on Google Doc that was shared out, and like it was bullet points, and like that's how it was because it was startup more or less. As that company grew, obviously more procedures, more systems, more processes came into play. But one thing they actually didn't lose was the culture. And the reason that they didn't lose the culture, and I feel that a lot of people miss this, is that they set the culture once. Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, well, like what's the old saying? Culture erodes 1% a day if you don't
Mhm.
constantly talk about it. So if you don't constantly talk about your culture over 100 days, you've had a radically different culture. And so it's not this set it and forget it thing. When you define your culture, you need to have, if you're the owner and you're in the day-to-day grind with your people, you're showing up, you're the culture leader.
Mhm.
As an owner, if you remove yourself from the business, completely fine, by the way, because some people, that's their goal, is to remove themselves from the business and not necessarily work their full slot and slate in there. They maybe work an hour or two a day. You're no longer the culture driver. So who do you have in your business that's your culture steward? Who's the person that you talk to daily to be able to inform them of the culture and that they inform it and they bring that top down? You have to almost shepherd that person, that culture steward, into that role. And maybe you have a few of them depending on the size of the organization. But when you grow and you forget to talk about culture, that's when you lose your culture.
Mhm. That's really interesting. I like how at the beginning you were saying that some people You could have a bad culture and not even know it, and they don't mean to, and it's not on purpose, right? There's been seasons in our business here at the new flat rate where team members have said, "Well, Danielle, the culture's terrible right now." And I'm like, "What? Are you serious?" And I've been in such tunnel vision, like just busy and in busy seasons that you don't even always notice the rest of the team and what's going on and any dysfunctions. And well, so and so doesn't like so and so, and then they're causing this and this and this. And oh, like for me, it's been easy in those seasons to be disassociated and not even recognize. And so then the other day, Melody, who works really closely with Natalie, says to me, she says, Danielle, this is my favorite team we've ever had at the new flat rate. I was like,
Hmm.
wow. She's like, the culture's so good here. And then somebody else said, everybody's happy right now. And I'm like, wow. But to your point, it was intentional this time. We went
Hmm.
back, we started doing EOS, the Entrepreneur's Operating System, which is just a
Love EOS.
our business. You guys are an EOS company too, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I was thinking. And so during the whole EOS process, we rewrote our core values
Mm,
because we'd set them years ago when we started, 14 years ago. These are the core values, boom, on the wall. But
yep.
then it wasn't living and breathing. It's easy to set those as you start a company because you think, oh, we need core values, but you don't even know what the company is yet.
No.
And as it gets going, 2 years ago, we were like, those aren't even us
Yep.
anymore. And so as we rewrote, the whole team was able to get behind it, and we wrote those to embody who the team was today and where we're
Correct.
all going together. So I've definitely failed in that piece and not realized, wait, where is the culture? And then you got to get
Right.
it again and build it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the core values piece because, like, I remember when we started the company, it was like honesty and transparency and integrity were our three like our three top core
For
values. That's
honesty,
all we
common
had,
sense,
right?
integrity, right? Yeah.
Right. And like you know what, if somebody's listening to this and they have honesty and integrity and transparency as their core values, I'm going to tell you straight up, those three core values suck. And you need to reassess those. It's like we went through that exercise in EOS and we completely stripped down our core values and rebuilt them
Same.
up. But so much so three months ago, when we had our EOS, and like our business has changed and pivot. There's two of us at the leadership table. We're bringing somebody, a third one in. So it's a little bit challenging when it's just two people at the leadership table. When you have three, a little bit more groupthink. But we when we're looking at them, like, I actually don't think one of our core values is serving us anymore.
Mm.
Our core value is unconventional thinking. And like, how do you, we also, as part of the EOS, we rank our team members under our core values every quarter. So
Yeah.
do they get it? It's almost like the GWC, the get
Yeah.
it, want it capacity, but kind of flipping it a little bit, where we rank our team on our core values, and are they living them, and are they breathing them, and are they showing up? Well, one thing we found with unconventional thinking was not all of our team members were be able to unconventional think. And so it
Mm.
was this false positive, or this almost like a false negative, I guess, in the business, because we're like, well, they're never doing it. And so we're like, well, what's a different one that we could look at? And so we changed it. We went back and we did an analysis. It's like, well, what do we talk about all the time? Well, we talk about FAFO, right? I'm not going to use the first word of that, but it's, I don't know if I can swear on your podcast. I probably should have asked you that before, but I'm going to do it anyway. So fuck around and find out. We talk about that all the time. But then how do we learn from that? Well, we fail forward, right? If we make a mistake, we just fail forward. And so, like,
Yeah.
dang, light bulb. Well, we changed our core values 3 months ago to add in fail forward and removed unconventional thinking.
So, what are you seeing the most successful contractors have in common when they run their business?
Mm. Speed of execution, I think, and is like one of the biggest ones. And so if they have an idea, they're not scared to try it and do it. You know that if it works, great. If it doesn't, great. But being able to cut that from it, some of the bigger operating companies that we see, like, we've got some smaller clients, we've got some medium, we got some bigger, and anywhere from 500,000 to 10 million, anywhere in that stretch. I find the ones that are the larger size, and by the way, people listening don't have to be an $8 to $10 million per year company. If you do not want to be an $8 to $10 million per year
Yeah.
company, key thing, I think social media has degraded that idea that you can have a 1 million per year company or 2 million per year company and be happy,
Be happy. Hmm.
right? Be happy. Just know that if you're at a $2 million per year company and you want to stay there, you're going to lose good team members who want growth.
Hmm.
Um, so that's just the reality of being and staying that size of an organization. Again, completely fine. Just know that and understand that. But I think the ones that get it right are the ones that understand the whole picture of things, right? They know that when it comes in, look, I own a marketing company, we know that marketers generally are the first ones on the that get slashed off of a budget if times are tough, or they move on if something's not performing. Where I think the conversation needs to shift from good businesses is they understand that it's not just one thing. It's not just one company, right?
Mhm.
It's like they call their SEO company. Well, why is my phone ringing? I'm like, well, I don't know. It's 70 degrees outside. It cools down to 65 degrees at night and no furnace or air conditioners running. I'm sorry. Like, when was the last time you outbounded your database?
Sure.
Oh, well, I thought it was No, it's everything, right? And so bad marketing, I mean, you could have great marketing and great company doing amazing things, but if you have bad operations, no matter the marketing is going to fix that. And then you could have bad marketing and great operations.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, you've got great operations, but now you need to replace your marketing company with somebody that can perform. So that's like this holistic aspect. The last thing on this is going back to culture. It really is. I mean, I have something called people product price. And I'm sure people have heard this before. I know Danielle, you probably heard this when you were when I was talking at the new flat rate event. People, product, price. And this is a key thing that people tend to get wrong. One of the companies I worked at was actually inverse. They went price, product, people, like
Hmm.
in that order. So price was the forefront of their mind, and then it was the
Yeah.
product, and then it was the people that worked in the organization. But if you flip that, if people are your first part of your organization, now there's two offshoots of people, by the way, your internal team and then your clients, right? Your internal team should be, no matter what, above all else, more important than your clients. I've actually told clients that I would fire them from my marketing company because they weren't treating my team members the right way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And why not? And so, but if you take this idea of people, guess what happens when you treat your people right? Well, they care about your product. Newsflash, your
Mhm.
plumbing architecture, black PVC pipe. Sorry to tell you, black PVC pipe. You can now we're not I'm not going to get into fixtures and like the differences of hot water tanks and in that, hot water tank heats the water up, right?
Mhm.
Air conditioner cools the house. Furnace heats the house. There's nothing crazy about the product that home services sell. But why is it though that some companies can charge double what others do? And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Profit is not a bad word. I think people like, but profit. Well, no. Why? Like, I got into business to have a profit,
Yeah.
right? Ethically doing it is something that's there. I mean, Tommy Mello talks about this all the time. He's like, we're one of the most expensive in town, but guess what? All my people earn six figures,
Mhm.
right? He takes care of his team. It's where
Yeah.
and when you do that, when you take care of your people, they then are bought more into your product, which then allows you to charge a higher price, which allows you to make more money, which allows you to pay your people more. It's a full circle.
Well, but then also in that circle is that they're going to treat your customers better too.
Correct.
They're happy, they're proud of what they're a part of, and that's going to show facing the customer as well.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And then it makes the marketing job easier because your return on ad spend's even greater because you're charging more and we look better.
Can you explain how fractional CMO services work and who they're best for?
Yeah, great question. So we at On Purpose Media do websites, SEO, Google Ads, and we're adding in fractional CMO, or fractional Chief Marketing Officer. If people are familiar with what a Chief Marketing Officer does, there's a lot of different things that go under the program, but really at its core is, I mean, there's three different programs that we offer. The names are still being iterated. It's still a fairly new offer. We're going to be taking on some beta folks here right away on it, and I know that we're going to absolutely crush the offering for it. But when you think about what a fractional CMO does, and if you're in the trades, traditionally speaking, you started on the tools, right? And you got into business after. So you're a tech turned owner. And marketing doesn't necessarily come second nature to a lot of individuals. You have
Sure.
to learn it. Some people are naturally gifted with marketing. Most people I feel have to learn it and then apply their creativity behind it. And so how do you map out a total vision and strategy for your business if you don't know what marketing needs to be?
Mhm.
Well, this is where a fractional CMO comes in. It's essentially advising on the totality of the marketing plan in and of itself. Now, the best part about when you hire On Purpose Media is we have specific partners that we work with from the SEO and the PPC side. So we don't do fractional CMO and SEO and PPC. We're going to do your SEO and your PPC, or we're going to do fractional CMO. Either way, we can still build a website that's not tied to any inherent performance. The reason that we're separating those is because your CMO needs to be objective. They need to objectively look at the data and be able to make informed decisions for you on the best course of marketing based off of what's happening in your business. And then making sure that they can pivot that plan to wherever they need and move the budget. So putting in 2-year success, for example, would be part of a fractional CMO to look to say, hey, you don't have this line item in your budget to be able to help with your current people in retention of your current clients. We need to spend some money here. Hey, we're
Mhm.
going to map out some offline, and this is different for every business. I don't think businesses under a million necessarily need to be doing a lot of offline type work like billboards or direct mail or such. There's better things that you can spend your money on, but looking at where your revenues are, where your budget's at, and mapping that everything together into one. And then we break that down into monthly calls. And so we sit there on a monthly call, and maybe it's a little bit higher in our higher program offers where we're meeting bi-weekly, more of kind of a concierge type level, but you get access to the individual on the team who have this master strategy, and we can talk about it, we can tweak, and we can pivot, and we can do what we need to do. We also hold the vendors accountable too, right? And making sure that they're hitting their numbers that they say they're going to hit. When we have ideas, we send it to them, they execute, and we're essentially the linchpin between you and the marketing providers. Okay. The other part is we meet on a 90-day cycle. So we take this from the EOS book, right? We meet on the 90-day cycle to be able to say, okay, well, here's the past 90 days. Here's what we're looking for the next 90 days. I actually think we need to pivot this, this, and this based off of the marketing plan because of the data over the last 90 days has told us we need to pivot this, this, and this. So we're going to make this move and we're going to pivot it. And so it's taking the marketing conversation off of the plate. I mean, you think about this as a business owner. I mean, how many hours per week do you spend on thinking and doing marketing,
Well, you don't,
right?
but that's one of the things, right? Is too often business owners think, oh, the dispatch board's not full today. And that's for all of us business owners, right? And we just react of, oh, we need
Mhm.
something. Let's do some marketing today. Do some marketing today. Somebody do something. Somebody do something. And we've lost the strategy. And so
Correct.
working with a fractional CMO, you would step back and say, no, 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 we need a longer term strategy than let's react today. What do we
Correct.
want 90 days from now? And so you're setting that strategy, and businesses all want a strategy, whether they realize it or not. But when you don't have one, it's easy to forget that. And all of a sudden you have a strategy put in place by somebody who knows what they're doing. And then you and the team just get to execute. How
Yep.
peaceful is that? How much peace does
Right.
that bring in? Oh, good. We
Right.
have a plan. We're just going to follow the plan.
Exactly. And the other part too is understanding the levers to pull, right? And when you need to pull them. And so if the dispatch board is empty, well, is there a lever internally that we can look to pull right away?
Hmm.
Do we have
Yeah.
those built out into the strategy to say, hey, here's if this, then this, right? To
Mhm.
use the Excel sheets, right? If then statements, right? If this happens, then this. And you build in those redundancies. So now it's no longer thinking, it's just going back and looking at that plan and the strategy and executing.
I like that.
What's one marketing strategy most home service businesses are underutilizing? I feel like I think about this every day because I'm in marketing and I personally think color because I see the three same like different service vans in Dalton. I know all three of them. If one of them was pink, I would know them instantly. I would be
Mhm.
all over them. I know every single pink car that rides around in Dalton. So I feel like colors everything like your mascot, stuff like that. What's something you think people underutilize?
Oh man, there's so many different things that I could go down. Most underutilized in marketing is actually not the answer that I think you're going to want me to say, but I'm going to say utilizing their existing database more. I
Mhm.
think that it's free marketing. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
think about
I
this, it's free,
agree.
it's time.
Mhm.
And so you have to invest in time into calling in touch
Mhm.
points for your existing customers. You've already paid, maybe you worked on referrals and so you didn't pay, but you've already paid to acquire that customer.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't you want to keep that customer? And so I think a lot of companies miss the mark, like myself included, on current customers or current people that are already in the database. If I were to go to like an option two, because you mentioned the pink thing, I think most people get their brand wrong. And like, look, when On Purpose Media started, guess what color we were? We were blue and we were green. Why? Because that was our favorite colors, right?
Yeah.
And then when we did the podcast and we had when we came and created it, like, well, hey, what's disruptive in the color scheme? Well, guess what? Hot pink.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing hot pink in the space, right? And so
Yeah.
we did our podcast with hot pink. We redid on purpose media with hot pink, and there's some others that have brought pink in, but by and large, now it stands out and it's a disruptive color. And I think that's another part. It's not blue and red with a flame and a snowflake. If you're an HVAC contractor, I'm sorry.
Well, both of these, Natalie, I love that you said color. And that surprised me when you said that. I love that you notice color and you like color, right?
Mhm.
And then Thaddeus, what you said is going back to your existing customer base, and that goes all of us fail in that. But I do 1000% believe that it's still true today. People do business with who they know, like, and trust.
Correct.
They do, right? Trust is a big one. You got to trust them. You got to see them. You got to hear from them. You got to have that relationship with them. And so calling, sending cards, visiting, being friends, being involved in the community, sponsoring the
Mhm.
sports teams at the schools. It's gotten to where, like, even if you just your logo, like, it doesn't have to be a huge ad, right? Just your logo, being around, being at the sporting events, being in the community, being at the chamber events, and
Correct.
having those relationships. And you don't even have to be outgoing for that. There's so many people that aren't outgoing. It doesn't matter. You just got to be present and be kind. And
Right,
it,
that's all it is. Or if you're not
yeah.
outgoing, then have somebody in your team go. Right. I think the like that community sponsorship in Little League and being involved in the community
Hmm.
is also a missed one from a lot of
Hmm.
people, but that's because it requires time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And people are always looking to do just one thing to miraculously silver bullet their business. Well, guess what? There is no silver bullet.
Yeah. Arnar, a couple years ago, we've been, my husband and I coached the cross country league for the local rec department. And so it's not fancy, it's not the schools. We're just the local community, the city, I guess, coaches for the cross country team. And the first year, 3 years ago, the first practice, I brought everybody water bottles, new flat rate water bottles, because I was like, hey, kids, you got to drink water for practice.
Yep.
And so the past 3 years, kids show up with these new flat rate water bottles, right? And it's just so simple. It didn't hard. I mean, what did it
Yeah.
like $1 a piece? Like, doesn't
Right.
really hardly cost you anything. That was really fun, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your customers, your database, and what are a couple, three. So let's say, all right, I have a database. I've been in business for 4 years. I have a database. I don't know what to do. How should I work with my database? What's three things that somebody
Three
could?
things. Well, if you haven't touched your database in 4 years, don't go try to sell right off the bat to them because you haven't really worked on that relationship at all. The easiest thing, I mean, I don't know when you're going to air this, but as of date of recording, we're September 24th, right? So we're kind of transitioning into the shoulder season for a lot of businesses. Well, now is the time to start adding educational value to them to say,
Mhm.
hey, have you changed your filters recently? Here's why you need to change your filter and give them a reminder on the filter change. Hey, here's another tip on terms of fall maintenance for your system that you can DIY yourself. You don't have to take your air conditioner apart and spray it out with a hose. In fact, we don't recommend that. But there's some other things that you can do, right? And giving some value-based pieces to re-engage that audience and re-engage that database is step number one. Don't go just straight up call and quote. Another one, the second one is you can do that via email marketing, by the way. The second one would be depending on how big your database is. If you don't have maintenance agreements or membership agreements, this is where I move into trying to sell a membership or a maintenance agreement. And I
Mm.
would do that via the phone only to start. And I would dial those outbounds and dial for dollars to that existing database to talk about the maintenance agreement plan and the club that you guys have and the benefits for it and see if they wanted to get scheduled maintenance on board. You could even run a special where I mean it's a race to the bottom for maintenance and tune-ups, right? But it's a good foot in the door offer, right? A lot of times people will also do this for brand new systems, and okay, if your system is a year old, you don't need a tune-up, right? If it's 2 to 3 years old, probably still don't need a tune-up. You could use a cleaning, right? But if you're getting into these age systems where you're getting into 7, 8, 9, 10 years, those are the ones that you're actually going to want to prioritize first. And
Mhm.
I would even run, my opinion, a no cost tune up if they buy the membership program.
Mhm.
See, now you go in there, you spend an hour doing the tune-up and the cleanup or whatever, but you might be able to find deficiencies, or you might be able to ethically at bat a new system replacement. And I use the word ethical because there are some people out there that will just say, "Well, I want anything in 7 years. I'm going to sell you a new system whether you need it or not." Well, that's not ethical, right? Doing it ethically is the way. The third one would be continuing to do those two things, really,
Mhm.
because that's when you think about that database, or even another one could just be, hey, a simple thank you card mailed out to them. Hey, you've been a customer of ours. We just wanted to say thank you, right? So now you're hitting a direct mail piece to them. I would even add in that for your current clients, there's ways that you can automate this via a variety of different systems that are out there. If you're doing an install, for an example, I wouldn't necessarily do this on a repair call, just because margins might not be there. But on an install and a replacement or a change out, whatever word you want to use, they're all interchangeable in my opinion. You have a higher ticket number, right? So
Mhm.
now you can say I've got a little bit more margin. Well, would you ever send them a gift saying
Mhm.
thank you? Here's a box of cookies,
Yeah. That's what I was
right?
thinking
Like,
about, is to your success who sends the cookies. I
yeah,
love
to your success. Their cookies are so good.
I know.
They're so good.
Yeah.
We're customers of theirs, and every once in a while, if we haven't placed an order, cookies will show up here and they'll just say, "Hey, thanks for being our customer." And
Mhm.
sure enough, lo and behold, we turn around and we actually send out more cookies, right? They remind us, and I love that about them, but it's with the thank you. Hey, thank you,
Yep.
right? It's not a hard sale. So I like how you're saying that we can just send out note cards, postcards to our customer base to say, "Hey, thank you. You've done business
Yep.
with us. We appreciate you." People like to be acknowledged. I made a LinkedIn post one time about this place that I go to for lunch here in town. And I was spending about $100 a week there for lunch. And to me, that's a lot of money on lunch because we can have leftovers from home. Like
Yep.
$100 a week at lunch, going there a couple times. I felt like that was a lot. So I almost didn't want to say it on LinkedIn because I'm like, that sounds like, I mean, that's a lot of money, right? I think
Yep.
for lunch, I could pack a sandwich. But anyway, I was going there spending this every week. And then I realized that they just didn't care about my business. So I stopped going there. And like they just didn't care. They didn't need my
Yep.
business. They didn't appreciate it. They didn't say anything to me. But To Your Success saw that I made that post on LinkedIn and they shot me an email right away. Danielle, we appreciate you. I was like,
Hmm.
thank you.
Aw.
Sometimes all of us just want to be noticed. We just want to be thanked. And your
Right.
customers are the same. They just want to be
Correct.
thanked. They had a choice. They could have called any plumber in town, any heating and air electrical company in town. They worked with you and showing them appreciation goes a long ways. And then they will remember to tell their neighbor or their friend,
Exactly.
"Hey, do you know a
Yep.
company? Yeah, actually, so and so reached out to me." So that was long. So let me slow back down,
Yeah.
pause, and say text message, phone, postcards, emails, social posts, and even tagging
Yep.
people. Like I'd
Yep.
tag people on social posts, tag your customers. Hey, wanted to send a shout out to so and so. Saw you at the supermarket last week. I mean,
Yep. And you know some like the four things that we talked about there, three of them weren't selling.
mm-hmm,
People have pitch fatigue and selling fatigue. It's just give them value, be a human, and connect with them on that level, and you'll win. Also,
mm-hmm.
this is part of your marketing budget, by the way. These things with your existing clients are actually still part of your marketing budget, people.
Mhm.
Good point.
Hmm.
For someone looking to improve their online presence, where should they start? Websites, SEO, or PPC?
Well, they should hire on purpose media, first and foremost. I'm kidding. But seriously,
Not
you need a good website in order to be able to do SEO, and you need a good website in order to be able to do PPC. So the first step is getting a very well dialed in website that is optimized for conversions and conversion rate optimization. Lots of people out there can design a fancy, great looking website, but if the user, the human, can't find the information quickly, it's dead in the water. I've been on this kick of saying you need to design a website for the path of the stupidest person. And I don't
love that.
mean that as an insult to the stupidest
Yeah.
person. It's just when you think about that, when we go, well, if you're an educated, savvy, technologically advanced individual and you land on a website and you have a tough time finding how to book the information, but you're still going to find it, think about the person who's not technologically savvy,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
right? That's the person you need to design your website for. The other part on websites that people miss is like, well, I just want to have a phone number or just a form fill. Well, no, you got to meet your customers where they're at. Older
Mm-hmm.
generation, guess what? They want to call you. Maybe fill out a
Yeah.
form fill, have a return call. Also, it depends on the service, right? If their air conditioner's down, their furnace is down, their sewer's backed up, they don't have any hot water, they're generally going to call
Mm-hmm.
or they're going to book online.
Mm-hmm.
So Guess what? House Call Pro has online booking. Service Titan has online booking. Workies, online booking. Sarah, online booking. All of the four big platforms have online booking. You need to get that code, you need to get it onto your website, and you need to allow people to book online.
Mm-hmm.
Text message options. That would be like the I guess the fourth one, because you got phone, you got form, you got book online, you got text message. Some people want a text message.
Yeah.
So now you have this text messaging capabilities, because now if you have all four of those, guess what? You match everybody from the brand new, maybe they're 18, bought their first home, although that probably doesn't happen very often, let's be real. But you've got people from their early 20s all the way up to however old they are owning a home, and you've
Yeah.
covered all your bases. Once you have your website, now you can build off your SEO, and you can be able to build your online presence, because the Google business profile doesn't necessarily have a lot of impact on the website. It does on the page that it links to, but only that page. That's why some people are like, well, how can a one-page website be outranking me? Well, ties into one page on your website, and a bunch of variety of other factors. AI overviews, AI mode, chat GBT, those things are pulling off of 100% your website. I mean, your Google business profile shows up too in those results, but there, you think about 3% of your target market at any given time once knows they have a problem, they're actively seeking out a solution, they're ready to buy now. That's, by the way, PPC ads, but they're going to go to your website. And if your
Yeah.
website sucks, well, they're not gonna phone you. If they land on your Google business profile, still 70% of traffic, roughly speaking, 60 to 70%, does not call from a Google business profile. They go to the website. And if they're obviously in AI overviews, that's 17% of your target market knows they have a problem. They're information gathering for a solution. Why is my kitchen faucet dripping? Why is my air conditioner blowing warm air? Sort of queries. And you need to fan them that information via the SEO. The bottom 80% are individuals that are a mix of they don't know they have a problem, they don't know there's a solution out there, or they don't know they know they have a problem, they don't even care about a solution right now.
How often do existing customers go to your websites versus, so let's say there's somebody that's done business with you, they're in your database and they've got a problem. Do you guys have analytics or data showing like they actually search to find your website again? Yes, this is who I use. This is my company. Or do they have your phone number saved?
I'd have to look through the like our actual back end of our data to be able to truthfully answer that question. Because I don't necessarily know off the top of my head what it would be. I have a hypothesis and I have an assumption where most people don't save phone numbers of companies in their phones anymore.
Hmm.
Why? You don't need to,
Wondering,
right?
right?
Right? You don't
Have to
need
go
to.
search for you again.
Yeah, they'll just search for you again, right? And so they'll just, oh, what was that company like? I'm trying to think. Um, I just went through this the other day. Every time I call it, I can't remember the company it is, but every time I call them, I don't have their phone number saved. I just have to go find it somewhere. I have to look online. I'll just Google it and then I'll click on their phone number. Now, that's when like the Google business profile calls up, I'll call it. Or if I need a little bit more information, maybe I'll go to their website and they call it. Where reporting comes in is you can actually see there's like on your Google Analytics, and not to get too technical, you can see like true organic. You can also see direct, and so like direct is they're searching in your company name, and
Hmm.
you can see that. You can also see the query types by like on some of the other backend data, so you can pull that out to see. And then if you're paired with a company like Searchlight, for example, who gives transparency on return on ad spend, you can break that down further to say, okay, well, my organic traffic new only was this much. My organic traffic repeat customers was this much. My organic both are this much. And you can segregate it and get pretty crazy with some of the data.
I wanted to make a comment on the phone thing. So I live with my great grandma. She's 83, and in her phone contacts she has Walgreens, Red Lobster, like places she goes, she has them in their contacts, like everywhere around Dalton is in her contacts. And I think it's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. So I really think you need to be thinking about who your audience is. If your audience is 80-year-olds, you should probably try to think, okay, is it going to be offensive for this 80-year-old to read this thing on my website? Is this going to be it? Like, you should think about that stuff of your age group, of who's in your audience for sure.
100%.
Thaddeus, where can people find you? Websites, everything.
Yeah, so the easiest way is on our website, onpurposemedia.ca. If you do type in onpurposemedia.com, it does forward to .ca, so I do own .com now. I just made that purchase like a month ago. So
Congratulations. That
Yeah,
must
we're gonna be pivoting over to everything.com. We're redoing and rebuilding our website right now. Because as a marketing company, well, sometimes we forget to touch our own stuff, and so we're like, hey, let's rebuild our site. So we're doing it. We're going to move everything over to .com from .ca. So onpurposemedia.com, onpurposemedia.ca, same stuff. It goes to the same place. If you want to find me on Facebook, that's where I'm most active on. Just type in Thaddeus Tondu on the search bar, and you'll see my smiling face, although I have a blue shirt, so I should probably update that to a pink shirt.
Thaddeus, thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights on purpose, culture, and marketing with us today. And thank you for tuning into the New Flat Rate podcast. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
If you want to learn more about the New Flat Rate, go to thenewflatrate.com. If you want to learn more about On Purpose Media, go to onpurposemedia.com or onpurposemedia.ca. Lastly, don't forget you can connect with Thaddeus on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/Thaddeus.Tondu.